So much better. All right, you guys, day two. Day two is all about transcendence versus fixing. Now, this is a concept that people think they know, but they think it's aha based, or sometimes people think that they're not fixing themselves when they're going to practitioner and after practitioner. But the essence or the air with which the intent, the driving force, what's driving the bus behind you going to practitioners or taking programs or whatever it is, working with someone, getting energy work, going to your chiropractor, whatever it is, the energy behind it is even as important as the doing of it itself. You understand what I'm saying? So the energy with which you approach those kinds of things is as important as the actual doing of them themselves. I shall tell you why. It's going to sound like I'm starting far, far away from the idea of fixing, and yet I am not. I am not, in fact. I remember way back when, and maybe you can see yourself in this, I was taking course after program after course, seeing practitioners, getting coaches, doing all these things in order to get somewhere that I was not. And I knew that I should be there. I knew that I should be to these places. I knew in my heart that's how it ought to be. And yet what was really interesting was that I perceived that there was something wrong, that I wasn't there yet. That was my first mistake. In fact, and tell me in the chat if you feel like this is you. If you feel like this is you, then just put it in the chat. I found myself constantly looking at the what's next, having this feeling for visionaries, for people like you and for people like me who are visionaries, who can see what's going on in the world and see the potential for our own lives. What happens is we get so connected to that. I'm not saying attached, that we literally have the ability, because of our intuition, because of the work we've done on ourselves, we can actually feel what's possible. We can start to feel what's next. Hi, Kathy Summerbuzz. And we start to feel that what's next, even if we can't get the full picture of it. And what we forget is the most important ingredient of that feeling. It's in our design to be a visionary. We are creators. You've heard that before. Other people have said it. But I want to break it down for you so it becomes so clear, because in the upcoming embodiment workshop, I'm going to tell you, we're going to go on an experience so that you'll never be able to go backwards. The reason I chose this subject today is because I was talking to a client, and then I talked to another client, and then I saw 3 responses to a post, and I'm like, no, that is not how consciousness works. So I'll tell you about the posts, and I'll tell you about my client conversations, and they went something like this. There was a theme, let's say. Sounded something like this. See if you recognize yourself in this, okay? Really see if you've got yourself in this. So this is what my client would say. I was going along, and I realized that I was doing this pattern that I saw that I had with my mother all the time, or I was doing this pattern that I saw that when I was growing up, it was really hard, and my dad thought that I was never good enough, or when I was in school, I learned differently, and so I always thought that I was stupid, and so I developed this pattern that I approached things as though I wasn't as smart as everybody else, blah, blah. And then I would say, that's very interesting. Yes, in your hologram, there definitely is that pattern. And they would say, well, I guess in order to get to where I'm going, I'm just going to have to surrender the pattern. Or I'm just going to have to let it go. Have you said this? Have you ever said this? Please tell me if you've ever said, I have to let it go. I have to surrender. I'm going for some energy work, or I'm going for a coaching call, and maybe we'll talk about it and process it. Have you ever said these kind of things? I really want to hear. Okay? That, I have to process this. I'm going to have to move through this. I have to talk about it. Now, me saying this already, there's maybe some people with their little antenna up. That's because you're all aliens. No, with your little antenna up. And the antenna are saying, oh, she's not going to say to spiritually bypass this stuff, right? And I'm like, no. In fact, the way I'm wired is so committed to the most advanced tools of physics that it's really hard to hear when we're used to the decades of self-analysis and self-excavation. And trust me, me too, me too, entirely. But I realized at some point, I asked myself this question, and this is what I realized. I asked myself this question. Why am I going through all this work in the first place? Is my life about constant self-analysis to get deeper and deeper states of freedom? Or do I actually, hence, thank you, Sue Crawford, for this beautiful painting, do I actually want to live free? Do I actually want to go direct with consciousness? Do I actually want to have an experience of all that is? Do I actually want to have the feeling of being dreamt by the dream that I was born with and that continues to evolve as I go through every piece of contrast? Do I want that to be the focus? Thank you, Kathy. Or do I actually want to spend my life in the doldrums of, the laws of physics say that which you focus on expands. If the focus of our lives is to do deep work to excavate that which is wrong, not to say that which is incongruent with who you really are, which by the way is not wrong, that which is incongruent with who you really are, for that to come up to leave, it needs to be displaced by the expansiveness of who you are, which is an entirely different journey. Really see if you can get this much more deeply than you've ever heard it before, because this is a very unique aspect of our work. Our work is not about endless excavation. Although when stuff comes up, absolutely, man, do we do some profound stuff to collapse and transmute and transcend the old. But the focus of the people that work with us is to expand us all into the operating system of what it is to thrive, to show and activate our superpowers, our ability to build bridges with humanity, our ability to use the laws of physics to be transcendent of the density of that which is in this world, to be able to operate, if here is survival, to be able to, despite what is going on in humanity, actually thrive up here. But it's a different operating system. Down here, you fix what's wrong. Up here, you thrive, and that which comes up and is displaced because it doesn't match your thriving will come up mostly from this frequency. Hundreds of beliefs will leave without you even needing to address them, because the perspective of someone that is actually connected to the laws of physics and living from that perspective in an embodied state already reperceives the past in a way that's entirely different. So let me give you something that is one of those shifts when you're in that thriving operating system, such that you're not ever focused on your brokenness, because you're not. Well, from the thriving operating system perspective, you couldn't possibly be broken, because literally you were given those parents, you were given that teacher, you were given that situation, such that you would become a master of the skills you would have to develop in order, as your life progresses, to be able to fulfill on the dream that's dreaming you. So not only is it not something wrong with your past, it literally was formative to you being able to be dreamt. The question is, how long are you going to keep believing people that tell you that you have to fix all of those things? It's like gaslighting yourself. I have to fix all those things before I ever can fly. No. Fly and watch yourself re-perceive those things from a higher frequency. There's a little exercise, because oftentimes when we've been through PTSD, which I know some of you have, right? So the problem with saying, and Kathy, I love that. Kathy on Facebook just said, shine and thrive. Easy to say, right? But if we've been through PTSD, or if we've been hurt, or if we've been dramatically affected by something that really was difficult in life, if that's happened to us, then oftentimes why that happened, we perceive as a child, that happened because we were shining, because we were being ourselves, because we were being all that in a bag of chips. And so what gets ingrained in our subconscious is this idea that, now listen, everybody breathe. Now this is a very convenient ego trick, right? It's just brilliant of the ego to come up with us to protect us perceptively. And the trick is, well, if you shine, it equals this much pain. So shining equals pain. Imagine that. So if you have that as a neurosynaptic instant, like the instant you shine, the instant you have something that is calling you, and you get excited and you start moving on it, and then you wonder why you keep sabotaging yourself. Why does it keep sabotaging? Why does that keep happening? Because literally you have embodied a protective mechanism. And when I say embodied, I mean you have defaulted unconsciously, not of any, God bless our egos for protecting ourselves from getting hurt. But the thing is that in actuality, what happens is there's a tripwire there every time you start to get excited, every time you start shining, every time something starts feeling good, right? And it's like, oh, and then you backpedal. So what I'm talking about is a difference in the way that we approach. Because I would say the majority of people have had some form of PTSD in my experience after working with probably over 100,000 people now. The majority of people have something that there's a tripwire that goes off as soon as you get to a certain glass ceiling. What if we can embody the thriving operating system? And what if there were exercises you could do, that you could do them in a box outside of the world and unplug from the things that you would perceive were dangerous or something's going to hurt you, such that you could go past those self-sabotaging mechanisms, which we're going to do in the next embodiment. And I've only done these exercises with 2 clients in my entire life. But we're going to do them together, whereby you actually can get your entire body aligned with a new biochemistry that is the biochemistry of the dream that's dreaming you. But it's better than that. It's better than that, you guys, because I want you to, I'm opening a portal of possibility here. A portal of possibility where we can get out of this. I mean, you can probably tell, I'm so passionate about this, because Because most of humanity thinks that the only way is to spend the rest of your life fixing yourself, and one day, maybe when you're 85, the light will shine, or maybe when you're 65, or maybe when you're 75, somehow like a little bit of the light will come through, when in actuality this doesn't even take that long. It literally can take weeks. The shift, instead of neurolinguistic programming that says it takes 3 weeks to cause a new habit, that is such old information. We literally can cause a conversation between the left brain and the right brain so powerful. Like, why would consciousness make it take so long? Of course it doesn't. And those of us that are kind of like divinely impatient would, of course, manifest and let drop in tools that would transcend, because even the tools in consciousness transcend and evolve, right? They evolve past Joe Dispenza. They evolve past, they keep evolving, just like Joe Dispenza continues to evolve. Our work continues to evolve. Certain people are in the world of evolution and effectiveness and productivity. And for me, this idea of coming at your life from constantly needing to go and get this fixed is so old. You don't need to fix yourself. You can literally activate from the inside out your natural operating system in a way that's safe, that your brain wouldn't short circuit every time you reach that glass ceiling. And if you could do it for long enough, a few times, what happens is you start to be able to transmute those old belief systems hundreds at a time. Right? But this is not like a meme, right? A meme that says, go and just be yourself and fly. You're not going to do that unless you actually understand this. That's like saying, go and win Olympic hurdles at the Olympics at 45 years old, That's not going to happen. But I can tell you what, I have friends that do the Ironman at 60 years old. And even if I told you right now, if you're 60 or whatever, around 60, and I said, go and be an Ironman, you're not going to do it. You literally need the skills to be able to thrive at that level. So you need an infrastructure to understand how to live a transcendent life. Infrastructure like how to bring that future trajectory into the now so that your biology shifts. How to get to a space of neutrality such that you're not having an emotional reaction to your past when you're future activating. You're actually in neutrality, feeling what consciousness is giving you that you can future activate, right? You're also having yourself understanding how to be consistently clear without getting frustrated or being pulled by the people around you, right? So that when you're not pulled by the people around you, by the situations around you, by politics, by economics, by conspiracy theories, when all of that gaslighty societal stuff just goes away and you're left with your own divine connection to all that is, all of a sudden there's consistent clarity. Not like a guru on a mountaintop. I mean pragmatic, fun, really being able to transcend the deception of perception so that we can just go direct. What if it isn't about fixing the past? It's just about going to frequencies where that past can't exist, but you need to remember, like have it come to the forefront of your beingness, okay? Have it come to the forefront of your beingness, a natural way of operating that looks an awful lot like that. But that natural way of operating that looks an awful lot like that is not actually what we're trained into. It's what we're trained out of. It's why little kids have such long telomeres, because they're living in their expansive state. And they just feel like they know what to do next and next and next. And when you're in your presence to that degree, you're no longer taken out by emotional reactions like we talked about yesterday. You're actually, and we'll talk about this and more in another day as well, you're actually in your purest form of feeling, which is through your 75 trillion cells that are directly connected to consciousness, rather than thinking a thought and then a judgment or an assessment and having an emotional reaction. See, that's why we're constantly looking to fix the past. Because clearly my emotional reaction comes from the past, so it's logical, it's linear. Let's fix the past and I won't have all these emotional reactions. And that won't take me out of my dreams. What I'm saying is, live at a frequency, like actually embody the infrastructure to be able to come into that thriving state. And, we're not going to do that on a Facebook Live. That is an experiential journey. What I'm here today to do is to open a portal to the idea that it doesn't have to be so slow or so arduous or take forever. The second piece that I wanted to share with you today that I think is so crucial. You are designed. Your design, even the family you were born into, even the person you divorced, even the struggle with your weight, all of it, whatever it is for you, not getting on with the dream that's dreaming you and then beating yourself up over it. All of that stuff is part of the gift that allows you to have the contrast that you get to transcend when you see it from the higher frequency. When you see it from the higher frequency, what happens is you have a transcendent perspective on what happened to you. And now you become a bridge for other people, a bridge of compassion, a bridge of understanding. And if you're really smart, you will actually be very aware of what you did and how you did it so that you are that person for other people. Hi, Jackie. Love you. You become the living bridge. And man, could this world use a lot of living bridges right now. But it's in that stop trying to stop the contrast. Stop trying to be permanently happy every day of your life. That's not what you're here for. You're here to create. You're here for the richness and the fulfillment. And absolutely, when you embody what I'm talking about, there will be far more richness and fulfillment. And as a result, you probably will be happier. But the purpose is not happiness, it's richness and fulfillment. And you probably will be happier. But if you want to stop all the bad stuff that you're perceiving as bad, which is a judgment, is actually the very catalyst that's causing you to be the creator that you came here to be. Just look at all the meaningful things that you've done in your life. Usually those meaningful things have come from something that was difficult. That's why it brought you meaning and fulfillment. Here's the goal. So this is the last piece of today. The goal is not so that everything will be happy and nothing bad will ever happen again. The goal is to understand the laws of thriving so deeply and embody the infrastructure of it, like an Olympic athlete that needs to train and needs to eat well and enjoy their life and have a really fun coach and all those kinds of things. The goal is actually not to fix everything or to be happy all the time. The goal is actually to be able to understand the laws of thriving so deeply that your interest is in always facing forward, creating, rather than facing backwards and fixing. It's a change in the way you operate. And now that we've talked about it, you will friggin' see it everywhere. You will see yourself try. It's a way when we're afraid or when we've been through PTSD, it's a way of sabotaging ourselves from actually getting on with it. Instead of learning how to thrive, we excavate all the ways we're not. So Brian's asking, that does resonate. I view my past from a much different perspective now. We've done a little bit of work, haven't we, Brian? So, thanks, Kathy. Thanks for the star. So, you guys, if you have any questions about this, please ask below. As you guys know, I'm doing this 5-day series where this is day number 2. Day number 3, 4, and 5 are equally as yummy and juicy and yummy and delicious. That's presuming that you thought today was yummy and delicious. So tomorrow is, what's the sole reason for the past? If you're the creator, if you are a creator consciousness, where do you put shame, regret, and shoulda, woulda, coulda? So that's what tomorrow's all about. And if you're just joining us, what I want to make sure is that you go back and you re-listen to all of this so that you can hear sort of the beginning, right? I am so appreciative of everyone. This is all in, some of you are already in the embodiment workshop that's coming up, and it is an evolution of all the work that we've ever done, because it really is about the embodiment, and it's about the embodiment of being able to embody. So in other words, imagine that thriving operating system is constantly evolving, just like the tools in consciousness to be able to keep up and be fulfilled and not be taken out by life. Imagine that's constantly evolving, right? So imagine that you so understood embodying your future in the now, that your biochemistry and your brain was wired towards constantly bringing that biology into your now, such that your biophotons would be consistently attracting that which is next, and you would have consistent clarity all the time. And it doesn't matter how brilliant you are at it now and how intuitive you are at it now. I promise you, we have world leaders come and do the program. So this is for the people that really love efficiency, that really love that leading edge, that really love the science of it and how it works, and want to have the experience. So if you're interested in the Embodiment Workshop, if you're on Facebook, it's www.thewideawakening.com/embodiment. And if you're in Agents of Awakening, then you get our membership price, which is really great. If you guys are on Facebook, you could actually go and join Agents of Awakening for free for 30 days and get the half price for the Embodiment Workshop, and you can do it online or live. But hopefully the information from today stands on its own for now. And if you're interested in actually having the experience, please do come. It's on September 7th to 9th. It's happening soon. And anyways, I love you guys. I can't wait for tomorrow. Shame, regret, all those cackadoodie. It's fine. It's great. Fantastic catalyst for a creator. But what do you do with those, since they seem so deep, right? So I hope this has helped today. I really and truly do. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, so happy to see you guys here. For those of you that are regulars, it's always fun to play. I love you madly. Karen Lee, so great to see you too. For those of you on Agents of Awakening, if you want to join Agents of Awakening for free for 30 days, people on Facebook, you can go to agentsofawakening.com and you can join for free for 30 days. And if you want to do the Embodiment Workshop, it'll be half price for you because you join.